Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the brand new 2023 Disney Plus original show, The Muppets Mayhem. So we have our animal right here. Oh, he's got some Pepe with him as well. Pepe's not in this show. Animal. Animal is one of the most iconic Muppets we've ever seen since the 70s, back when the show first aired, right? So to have him be himself, but in a less like grabby way, because he's very grabby back in the day. He's like toned down, but fleshed out. It's just bro. Like it's just so. Whew. This show is co-created, co-written by Adam F. Goldberg. Right, we all know and love him for the creator of The Goldbergs, which was on ABC for 10 years. Right, he was the lead writer for the first 7 seasons. The show was originally based on his life. For some reason, they didn't want him back for season 8, 9, and then on. So 8, 9, and 10 is just straight fiction. 1 through 7 season wise is like literally based on his life, his family. So having him be a big Muppet fan, having Sean Brown play him as a kid growing up as a big Muppet fan, having a beaker doll in the corner of his room the entire time, we knew it was going to be a good show. I did not expect this to be one of the greatest Muppet things ever created. This had so much heart, it had so much soul, it had so much growth, it had so much laughter, questioning, self-reflection, tears. I laughed, I cried, I cheered, I gasped, I got chills. It was just so deep. It was so incredibly well done. I am so blown away. So the Muppets have a house band in the original show from back in the day called The Electric Mayhem, Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem Band. The Electric Mayhem had been performing for over 50 years. They've done Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. They've done concerts, stuff, right? They've never actually had an album before. So they've of course had soundtracks and stuff, but the band themselves, canon-wise, have never released an album. So the fact that the soundtrack of this show is now peaked up on a Billboard chart, it's the first time that the group has actually done that, and it's the Muppets Mayhem group. It has a peaked album. It's so neat knowing this information. So the story is that the band signed a record deal with this company years ago, right? This record label, years and years ago. They were given a large sum of money in advance, and they never actually made the album. They've just been on tour for the last 50 years. And so Muppets Take Manhattan is referenced in this. Animal is a baby. We get a lot of him. So there's a lot, and we get the backstory of how Animal came about. You know, he was dropped off on Sergeant Floyd Pepper's steps with a note that said, "Keep." Oh, bro, my heart, that whole scene. We get Dr. Teeth's backstory about him literally being a dentist and being forced into dental school by his parents to take over the family business. Bro, like things. So it's in the Muppets Take Manhattan canon because of the Muppet Baby aspect of it, because the Animal is a baby in this as well. So we know that. I don't remember the movies being mentioned, the 2011 movie, the 2014 film. So it's the Muppets Take Manhattan TV show canon kind of a thing. Now, this was so well done. There's this main character, Nora Singh. She is an assistant to this CEO of Toontown Records, Plushtown Records, Ponetown Records, Blushtown. I don't remember the name of the record label, to be completely honest. But character named Penny. Absolutely hysterical, Fran Fine vibes for a Muppet that they created. Love it. Anders Holm plays this character who is... he's an app developer, but he used to work with Nora Singh at the label. Then Taj Mahal is a character who's just a massive fan of the Mayhem, the Mayheads, if you will. So he tours with the bands just as a fan. But he's a producer, so he's like creating an album of their stuff live. So getting all the band together, getting everybody together to make an album, getting all the different influences to make the album, realizing that Taj's character of Moog, M-O-O-G, Moog, is the one who's supposed to be producing this, not Zed, not having a, duet guest appearance with Kesha. Like, So many different guest stars are on this. Of course, it's the Muppets. That's what you do. You always have your cameo appearances, but it didn't need it completely. You had Lips as the main, who's a fan of this person, and there was one episode you had Paul Abdul, you had Morgan Freeman, you had all these other characters in this, um, auditioning to play them in a biopic, and you had Peter Jackson at the end of it. You had so many guest stars in this one particular episode. It was hysterical because it was one after the other after the other. So the Mayhem is given this house called the Shack that they are living at while they are recording this album in the basement, and stuff happens. What happens when Nora's younger sister Hannah, who's an influencer, introduces them to social media, or she's supposed to introduce them to social media, but it's actually Nora who introduces them. What happens when you give these artists who've been performing for 50 years and only know one certain way, kind of a thing, access to the world? So Janice is inadvertently created a cult that names themselves the Freshurlians. Zoot is off just taking tons of blurry pictures, which are selling for thousands of dollars at an art gallery. Lips is just now doing TED Talks. Dr. Teeth wants to, go on his honeymoon cruise with Penny as they eat hot stuff. Who else? Sergeant Floyd Pepper realizes his love for jingle creating. It's just very entertaining having all of these backstories brought up, having all of these potential, conversations brought up as well, because a lot of it's the characters themselves are dealing with stuff. The characters themselves are trying to heal past traumas, or try to find answers, or start to question other things, start to open up old wounds, things. And to have Janice just be that exploration of mind, body, and soul for everybody was just really cool. And her saying, there's a lot of self-reflection I need to do myself. This was a very eye-opened now show. This was very love who you love and be who you want to be, and it's okay not to be okay. And while you're not being okay, let's figure out why we're not okay. Let's see what happens next. Let's take a moment. Let's breathe. Let's reflect. Let's talk about it. It's very warm, very welcoming, very accepting, very communal. It was very, very interesting because it was different. It was not like a normal, slapstick kind of bad pun thrown in here kind of film. You have your, various Muppet films where you have your, period slang or your puns. This didn't have many. This had some, but it was more on the heart aspect. Having Animal grow as a character, having each individual bandmate grow as a character. It's just really, it's very well done. And I really hope that there's a season 2, and it ends off in a possibility of another road trip kind of a thing, because they made the album. So what happens next? But getting to that part, what happens when they all split for a bit and do their own thing, but they're family, so they all love each other, so they're all going to be with each other anyway. Things, bro, it was so much self-reflection within this. That's the best word for this. This was a self-reflecting kind of film, kind of show. It's not a film. It's 10 20-something long episodes. Season 2 has not been slated. I don't see why they wouldn't slate it. It's doing very well. Very, very well with fans. I have no complaints. Absolutely no complaints. I would like to see more on Janice's backstory. The biggest part of this show, with the eye-opening aspect, was when they were going to the Joshua Tree Resort or whatever in the desert, and it's just this like shack that they inadvertently got through Airbnb with a poop shovel and a bag of expired marshmallows from the 90s that they all eat, most of them eat, and then go on these crazy psychedelic trips from the bad marshmallows, all reflecting, we find out that Janice is a twin sister. So it's just so many really interesting, well thought out things through all of this. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it, Animal. Absolutely loved it. I love Animal so much. Animal is just the man. He's the man. Him just singing tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, and it was hysterical. Him screaming Nora, and then Bunny, and Moog. It was so entertaining. I love the Muppets. I will always love the Muppets, and that's why we did our Muppet Marathon a month or so ago. It's because we wanted to prep for the Muppets Mayhem. And Adam F. Goldberg knows what he's doing when it comes to fandom stuff. I can't wait to see what he does next. I can't wait for a potential season 2 of Muppets Mayhem. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.